First story. I ruined my stepdaughter's 18th birthday, and she went NC with us good riddance. But she resurfaced after 10 years with a child, and my husband went to reconcile. So I demanded an apology before reconciling. She refused, so I wrote her child a letter saying she will never be my grandchild, thinking my husband would back me up. Now I lost everyone, and I regret my actions. I 50s, female have been married to my husband for nearly 20 years. He has a daughter, Brielle, from a previous relationship. She's now 28, married, and has a child of her own. We haven't seen or spoken to her in over a decade. That's not an exaggeration. She went completely no contact with us the day she turned 18, and not once in all these years did she reach out, send a message, or acknowledge birthdays or holidays. The last time I physically saw Brielle was on her 18th birthday, and that night is still burned into my memory for all the wrong reasons. But to explain what happened there, I need to back up and give some context. I came into Brielle's life when she was 7. At first, things were rocky but manageable. I have a daughter of my own, she's now 25, and we did everything we could to create a blended home that felt stable and normal. But from the very beginning, Brielle had emotional issues. Her mother wasn't in the picture much. She moved across the country and only saw Brielle once every couple of years, so we were left picking up the pieces every time she was disappointed. And she took it out on me. Not just as a moody kid, but in a targeted, aggressive way. Screaming fits, silent treatment, throwing things, and not once did she ever show remorse. It's not like we didn't try. We got her into counseling when she was 10 after she pushed my daughter down the stairs during an argument over who got to use the computer. She was suspended twice in middle school, once for calling a teacher a stupid BTCH during a group project, and another time for keying a classmate's car in the school parking lot. These were not normal preteen tantrums. This was a pattern, and it only escalated in our home. She would scream at me during dinner if I served something she didn't like. She once accused me of deliberately ruining her birthday because I didn't get her the right nail polish for her gift. This was when she was 15. She called me a fake BTCH in front of my husband. And my husband, he never really disciplined her. He always said, "She's been through a lot," or "She doesn't mean it." I was the only one who pushed back, and that made me the villain in her eyes. I won't sugarcoat it. I grew to resent her. I never treated her differently in terms of what I did. She got the same Christmas budget, the same vacations, the same back-to-school shopping, but I did not coddle her, and I wasn't about to walk on eggshells in my own home. By the time she was 16, we barely spoke. She'd come home from school, go straight to her room, blast music, ignore my greetings, and only show up when dinner was ready. If she didn't like the food, she wouldn't just make herself something. She'd throw out what I cooked and tell me I was a lazy step BTCH for not making something better. I was the one doing 90% of the housework, while she contributed nothing and screamed at me like I was the help. One specific incident that's never left me happened when she was 17. My daughter had a piano recital, and we all went to support her, all except Brielle, who made a huge scene in the driveway saying she wasn't wasting a night clapping for some bland loser. She refused to get in the car, and then spent the night texting my daughter horrible things like, "Hope you fumble your solo in front of everyone." My daughter cried for 2 days after that, and when I confronted Brielle, she told me she needs to toughen up. I'm doing her a favor. So no, I've never been able to just let it go. I've swallowed my tongue more times than I can count, especially for my husband's sake. But the final straw was her 18th birthday. We threw her a small get-together. I baked a cake myself, vanilla with strawberry filling, which I now know was the wrong flavor. She specifically wanted chocolate, apparently, though that was never communicated to me or my husband. The second I set it down and everyone sang, she just stared at it and said, "Are you effing serious?" She shoved the knife into the cake, pulled out a slice, sniffed it, and threw the entire thing across the dining room. The cake hit the wall and slid down, leaving a giant pink smear. Then she screamed, "I'm done with this fake arse family," and ran out the front door barefoot. My husband chased after her and tried to talk her down, but she was gone. She never came back. She sent 2 friends the next day to collect her stuff. No note, no explanation, just total radio silence. I had to clean that mess up myself. Cake in the carpet, on the walls, and on the ceiling fan somehow. And that moment summed it all up for me: years of walking on eggshells, getting screamed at, insulted, disrespected, and blamed for everything wrong in her life. I cried while cleaning, not because she left, but because it felt like the only person keeping her toxicity in our home was gone. I finally had peace. Fast forward 10 years. My husband ran into her at a grocery store. She's married now, with a daughter of her own. According to him, she looked happy and said she was open to talking. He came home full of hope, practically giddy, and told me he thinks it's time to rebuild the bridge. I told him calmly, he's welcome to do whatever he wants, but I'm not opening my door or my life to her unless she apologizes. Not just for the birthday cake, but for the years of disrespect and verbal abuse she dished out to me and my daughter. I'm not budging on that. My husband went ahead and reached out to her anyway. They met up again, and according to him, the conversation didn't go well. Brielle told him point blank she's not apologizing. She claims we provoked her for years and made her feel unwanted, and that I made her throw the cake by not listening to her wishes. She said her dad tried to coerce and guilt her into putting something disgusting in her mouth, and that I'm the petty one for holding an apology over her head after a full decade. I told my husband that she can call it whatever she wants. That doesn't change the fact that she screamed at me, broke things, verbally harassed my daughter, and walked out without ever acknowledging the damage she left behind. I didn't make her throw anything. She was 18, not 8. And regardless of what flavor the cake was, nothing about her behavior was acceptable. He tried to argue that she was just a kid back then, and that maybe we could all move forward without rehashing the past. I asked him how that's supposed to happen when she refuses to take responsibility for anything. She says we made her act like that, but I wasn't the one throwing plates or screaming slurs. I didn't force her to torment my daughter for years. That was all her. The irony is she's a mother now, supposedly grown. But she still can't say, I'm sorry, for how she treated people who gave her a home, food, clothes, school supplies, rides, healthcare, everything. Instead, she's framing herself as a victim and rewriting the entire history so she doesn't have to feel bad. And the part that's gotten under my skin the most. My husband is falling for it. He came back from their last meeting saying I'm the reason they can't reconnect. That my ultimatum is getting in the way. That I should suck it up and be the bigger person because she's trying. Trying would look like a text or a call or literally any acknowledgement of the way she used to speak to me and treat my daughter. Not going through her dad to spin a story where she was this misunderstood kid who was just pushed too far. She always had an excuse, and clearly, she still does. I asked him, if the roles were reversed and my daughter had treated him the way Brielle treated me, would he just suck it up for the sake of appearances? He had nothing to say. Just stared at the floor and muttered that it's different. No, it's not. She was cruel. She created a hostile environment in our home for years. She left not because of a cake, but because she had zero consequences for anything she did until someone finally stood firm. Now that she's older, with a kid of her own, she wants a relationship with her dad. Fine. I won't stop that. But I'm not pretending the last decade didn't happen. I'm not playing the doting stepmother to someone who still refuses to say 3 simple words. I was wrong. She doesn't have to grovel. She doesn't have to rehash every incident. But I'm not going to pretend she didn't throw food at me, cuss me out, and emotionally damage my daughter, and just let her waltz in like we're all happy to see her. I also think it says something that her only interest is in reconnecting with her dad. Not the family. Not even a small attempt to bridge anything with me. According to him, she won't speak to me unless I stop making demands. As if a basic apology is a demand. I told him, once again, that he's free to see her. I'm not stopping him from calling her, meeting her, visiting her grandkid, or whatever. But she's not coming into my house. Not until she acknowledges how she treated me and my daughter for all those years. Now he's accusing me of being selfish. Says I'm holding on to bitterness and hurting the family. He said if I had any compassion, I'd look at how far she's come and stop living in the past. No. I'm not punishing her for what she was. I'm holding her accountable for what she still refuses to own up to. Growth isn't just having a baby and a wedding ring. It's admitting when you were wrong and trying to make things right. I gave this girl over a decade of my life. I made her school lunches. I sat through parent-teacher meetings. I tried to include her in every holiday, even when she made me miserable. I let her yell at me, curse at me, lie about me, and turn my husband against me more than once. The one thing I've asked for is a damn apology. But now I'm the villain. Because I won't pretend her behavior was okay. No, I'm not doing that. So here I am. 10 years later. No relationship with my stepdaughter, no apology. And now my husband is acting like I'm the problem because I refuse to sit down and play happy families with someone who made my life hell for over a decade and still believes she was justified. I'm not saying she can't change. I'm not even saying I hate her. I'm saying that if she wants to come back into my life, into my house, she needs to say the words. If she can't do that, then she can keep her distance, and my husband can go visit her wherever he wants. But I won't budge. AITA. Comments. Comment 1. This is going to get me downvoted. But OP, I think you're leaving out a lot. You mention your daughter like she was just this innocent bystander. But you say Brielle hated her, not disliked. Hated. That doesn't usually come from nowhere. Were you favoring your kid? Was Brielle treated like the outsider? You describe years of emotional issues, but no real introspection on why she had those. Also, your language is clinical when it suits you, behavioral challenges, and vindictive the rest of the time. Spoiled. Lazy step BTCH. You sound like someone who decided early on not to like this girl and just stuck to it. And then you demand an apology not for a single incident, but for years as a precondition to even speak to her. She cut off contact for 10 years. That doesn't happen over cake. And it doesn't usually happen over one-sided abuse. It sounds like she finally snapped in an environment where she never felt wanted. YTA. Not for having boundaries, but for pretending they're about respect, when they're clearly about punishing her until she plays the role you want. Comment 2. NTA. F all these people acting like being 18 erases everything. You're not required to welcome someone back into your home who was a terror for years and still refuses to acknowledge that. Everyone yelling. What about her trauma? Cool. But OP was living in it. While her husband did the Disney dad routine, she had to play bad cop, cook, clean, and absorb a teenager's abuse. You were clear. Your husband can have whatever relationship he wants. But she's not coming back into your life unless she takes accountability. And she won't. Instead, she plays the "you made me do it" card like an 8-year-old who shoved a kid and blamed the wind. Also, OP, your husband calling you selfish is rich. Where was he when Brielle was calling you a BTCH and smashing stuff? You're not selfish. You're fed up. And you're allowed to be. Stick to your boundary. Comment 3. I've worked with teenagers for 30 years, and every time I see a story like this, it's the same pattern. An adult decides the kid's a problem, digs in, and by the time the kid turns 18, the relationship is rubble. You can say she was disrespectful, fine. But the adult has to model repair. You never did. You made apology first a gatekeeper rule. Your husband is right about one thing. You're harming his chance to have a relationship with his daughter. You're so focused on the principle that you've lost sight of reality. She's grown, has a family, and is offering cautious contact. You could have said, let's start fresh. Instead, you went straight back to Cake Gate 2015. YTA for clinging to your pride instead of letting people try again. Update. First, I saw the post blow up. I thought people would understand, or at least some would. But apparently, being honest about not wanting to be fake with someone who made your life miserable now makes you a monster. I've been called abusive, bitter, manipulative, emotionally stunted, you name it. So let me say it clearly. Since the internet thinks they know everything from one post, I never hit that girl, I never starved her, and I never locked her in a room. But yeah, I hated living with her. I dreaded walking through my own front door for years because I never knew what mood she'd be in. I despised how she treated my daughter. I couldn't stand how she acted like a damn queen in a house she contributed nothing to. And after enough years of being spat on, sometimes literally, I stopped pretending. I didn't fake love. I didn't play Mom of the Year to someone who'd already made it clear she didn't want me in that role. I'm not going to lie. I had been counting down the days until she turned 18 and moved out. I just didn't think it would happen so fast. She threw the cake, stormed out, and sent 2 friends to pack her stuff like she was some runaway celebrity. I thought, good riddance. And for 10 years, things were finally normal. Peaceful. No screaming. No door slamming. No drama. I got to live like an adult in my own home again. My husband and I traveled. We downsized. We had hobbies, movie nights, and even a weekend garden project that lasted 2 summers. I finally had a marriage where I wasn't fighting with a teenager through a grown man. Until she showed back up. Once she reappeared, he changed. Almost instantly. He started reminiscing. Getting emotional. Talking about grandpa time and new beginnings. Like the last 10 years meant nothing. Like she hadn't ghosted us and left destruction in her wake. I told him he could do what he wanted, but I wouldn't be dragged into it. I meant it. What I didn't expect was for him to blame me when she refused to apologize. She flat out told him she was provoked into throwing the cake because I made her feel unwelcome. Apparently, you bought the wrong cake on purpose makes me the abuser now. It boiled over last month. He came home from another one of their little reunions, yes. They've been meeting in secret and started talking about how maybe she and the baby could come visit. Just for a bit, just to try. I said no again. I reminded him of everything. How she screamed at me. How she bullied my daughter. How she made our home feel like a minefield. And then I snapped. I called her an ungrateful little BTCH. I said I didn't give a SHT about her kid, that I wasn't about to play grandma to some baby I had no connection to, born from a woman who'd done nothing but cause damage. I said if he wanted to play grandpa, he could go do it at their house. But not mine. He called me vile. Said I was bitter, small, and pathetic. I told him he was pathetic for suddenly deciding to play daddy after 10 years of silence, just because she popped out a kid. We screamed. He packed a bag and left that night. A few days later, I mailed a package to Brielle's house. A letter addressed to her child. It said something very simple. Just so you know, your mother and I are not family. If she and your grandfather decide to pretend otherwise, that's their choice. But I will never be involved. Don't expect a relationship. Was it cold? Maybe. But I've had enough people dump their fake forgiveness on me and expect me to smile. I figured it was better the kid heard it now, in plain terms. She posted a picture of it on Facebook with a long caption. Imagine sending this to a child. I don't even have Facebook, someone else sent it to me. The comment section was full of people calling me evil. But nobody asked why I felt the need to send it. Nobody asked what she did to me. Then came the final blow. Divorce papers. Certified mail. He didn't even come back to talk. Just a lawyer's letter and a blank stare when I called him. No conversation. No mediation. He's staying at her house now. Guess I got replaced. I have no one to talk to. My daughter went no contact to not over this. We've had other issues for years. Not getting into that. So yeah, it's just me now alone in a half-furnished condo with a half-dead potted plant and a cat that barely likes me. But I still stand by what I said. I don't care if people think I'm heartless. I'm not pretending for social media. I'm not faking love. If you treat someone like garbage for years and then expect open arms just because time passed, that's not healing. That's entitlement. All I asked for was an apology. Just one. Just something to say. Hey, I know I wasn't easy to live with. She couldn't even give that. And now everyone acts like I'm the one who blew up the family. They can have each other. I'm done pretending I ever had one. Comments. Comment 1. I'm a parent, and I've made mistakes. You clearly made them too, but unlike most of us, you're still wearing yours like a badge. You say you didn't want to play the doting stepmom, but at some point it seems like you went out of your way to be cold. A strawberry cake for a girl who hated it. That's not faking it. That's a petty war. You talk about peace in your home after she left, but it's clear you only had peace because your scapegoat disappeared. The second she re-entered your husband's life, you unraveled. Because deep down, your position depended on her never returning. I don't know what Brielle did. I'm sure she wasn't perfect. But the way you've retold these events, you sound like someone who needed her gone to function. That's not healthy. That's not parenting. That's power. And you just lost it. Comment 2. Jesus Christ, lady. You mailed a breakup letter to a toddler. You weaponized the mail. Do you hear yourself? You nuked any chance of peace just to make sure everyone knew you were still mad a decade later. And then you're shocked when your husband says, "Yeah, I'm out." What did you think was going to happen? He's got a grandkid now. A second chance. You're over here writing letters from bitter jail while he's trying to build something. Also, the way you describe your 10 years of peace is wild. You make it sound like you were living in a spa retreat, when, in reality, it was just you simmering in resentment, waiting for the girl to either come crawling or stay gone forever. You didn't want peace. You wanted the win. And when you didn't get it, you blew up your whole life. Honestly, you got what you asked for. You're alone. Mission accomplished. Update. I don't know if this is the right place for this. I've never made a post outside of the AITA mess, but I don't need judgment right now. I need help figuring out how to move forward. Because the truth is I lost my husband, my kids, and any sense of family. I didn't kill anyone. I didn't cheat or lie or steal. But somehow, I'm the one who ended up completely alone. For those who saw my original post, I won't link it, it blew up enough. You know about the situation with my stepdaughter. I won't rehash the whole thing, but the summary is, I helped raise her since she was 7. We had a toxic relationship. She went no contact the day she turned 18, didn't speak to us for 10 years. And when she came back into my husband's life recently, I said I wouldn't accept her unless she apologized for everything she did to me. She refused. I set a boundary. and now I'm divorced. But this post isn't about her. This is about what came after. After the divorce papers were served, I moved into a condo. It's small, beige, and cold. It doesn't feel like a home, just a place I happen to sleep. The silence is unbearable. At first it felt like peace. I thought I needed space to cool off. But space just became isolation. Days pass without anyone calling. I used to joke that I hated social media. Now I check it obsessively, just to see if anyone I know is still breathing. My daughter hasn't spoken to me in almost a year. That's not related to the stepdaughter thing, by the way. People assumed it was the same fight, but it wasn't. That fracture started when she began dating someone I didn't approve of. I told her bluntly that she was throwing away her potential for a relationship that wouldn't last. I made comments, judged her decisions, and when she pushed back, I said she was being dramatic. I was just being honest. She said I was controlling, said I treated her more like a project than a person, said she needed distance. Then silence. Then no contact. My son from a previous marriage followed a similar path. His was about a career change. He quit law school. I told him he was a fool. I may have said some harsh things. I believed I was helping pushing him to not make a mistake he'd regret. He said I only saw people for what they could do for me, that I never really supported who he was. Then he stopped replying to my texts. So now, it's just me. I keep telling myself I did what I thought was best. That I was trying to keep people from ruining their lives. That I was trying to hold my family together, even when it felt like they were all slipping away. I was the one who handled logistics, planned holidays, made dinners, paid bills, and fixed emergencies. I carried everything, and somehow I ended up being the one everyone walked away from. It doesn't make sense. I don't regret what I did with my stepdaughter. I don't. She was cruel. She was volatile. She screamed at me, insulted me, and made life in that house unbearable for years. And when she reappeared, suddenly playing happy family with my husband, she expected me to act like it never happened. No, I wasn't going to let her waltz back into my space without owning what she did. I don't regret telling her that I didn't want a relationship with her child either. I meant it. That baby is not my grandchild. I didn't raise her. I didn't sign up for this second chance narrative everyone else seems to be embracing. But I do regret the outcome. I didn't expect my husband to leave. I thought he'd be angry, sure, but not end the marriage. We'd been through worse. Or so I thought we had. I didn't think he'd actually walk away from everything we built just because I wouldn't kiss the ring of a daughter who hadn't been in our lives for a decade. Now I can't sleep. I go to bed early just to shut my brain off and wake up to a home that doesn't need me. No appointments. No obligations. Just endless time. I miss my husband. I miss the rhythm of our life, the routines, the weekends, the way we used to argue about what movie to watch. I miss being needed. Even if I don't miss the people themselves sometimes, I miss having people. That sounds awful, but it's true. I miss being important. The thing that's hardest to admit, and I guess this is why I'm writing, is that I don't know how to get them back. I've tried writing letters. They don't respond. I've tried calling. Straight to voicemail. I even sent a message to my ex-husband saying I was open to talking. He just replied, "There's nothing to talk about." I don't know how to be different. I thought I was doing everything out of love. I thought keeping things in line, being blunt, and setting high standards were for their benefit. But apparently, I was just steamrolling people. I still don't think I was wrong. But I also don't want to die alone. So now I'm here, asking strangers on the internet. How do I fix a life where I still believe I was right? But I've lost everyone because of how I handled it. How do you come back from that? Comments. Comment 1. Okay, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. You basically drove everyone out of your life, and now want sympathy because you didn't expect loneliness to suck this bad. You admit your kids cut you off because you insulted their life choices, not just once but repeatedly. You call that honesty. They probably called it soul-crushing. You wrote off your step-grandkid like they were a return package. And now you sit in an empty apartment, shocked that everyone took you at your word. I'm not saying you're the devil. I'm saying you were an arsehole for years, and the bill finally came due. If you want to change your life, you're going to need to stop expecting everyone else to apologize and finally own your SHT. Or keep sitting in silence. That's your choice. Comment 2. There's a thread running through your post that I don't think you even realize is there. You equate being right with being good. You say you don't regret your actions because you believed they were correct, or at least deserved. But relationships don't thrive on being correct. They thrive on connection, flexibility, and emotional safety. What jumps out is that everyone left after you imposed a judgment. Your daughter's partner, your son's career, your stepdaughter's re-entry, every one of those situations triggered your impulse to control. You say you acted out of love, but what you really seem to want is for people to live according to your version of smart decisions. You don't need to change your values, but you do need to unpack why your love feels suffocating to others. A therapist could help you with that if you're genuinely ready to stop being right and start being reachable. Second story. My boyfriend went to buy me a birthday gift, but gave his number to a girl in the mall because she felt lonely and needed a friend. I broke up with him. Went to work yesterday and called my BF to say good morning. He was pissy because I woke him up, didn't know he was asleep. So he hung up. His mum called me on my lunch to ask how I am and if I spoke to my BF today. I assumed she wasn't able to get through to his phone, so I shrugged it off, saying I'm good, and I only said good morning to him. Day goes by, and he doesn't call or text at all. I call at 6 p.m., and he just got home from the mall and has an attitude. I ask him what's going on, and he says now that he's home I can stay on the phone and irritate him. I'm like, WTF is going on? And he hangs up. Later his sister tells me my BF went to buy me a birthday gift at the mall, and then gave the store assistant who helped him his number. She tells me the girl didn't ask, but my BF gave it out. And then they were texting through the day. This morning, he said he wants to talk to me. I told him when I get home. Then he says he thought about it. And it's not that deep, so it doesn't matter. Obviously not knowing I already know. I get home, and it takes like over 35 minutes for me to get him to just spill whatever happened. He then says he had pure intentions because the girl looked sad and lonely. And he said, you know what? I'll be your friend. I ask him how come you didn't speak to me at all, but you had time to text her since you said you were busy, etc. He said, well, she texted me, and you didn't. Bro, I don't know how to think or feel at. I feel like I'm stupid and overreacting, or I'm naive and gullible. Relevant comments. Commenter 1. Are you guys teenagers? I pray to the heavens. His actions sound immature. He's either losing respect for you, or never had it to begin with. I'll go with the latter. You're not. He has every intention to cheat on you eventually, if he hasn't already. Sometimes cheaters push you away when they have done something already. You must be a lovely person to have a close connection to both his mom and sister. I love that his own sister ratted on him to look out for you. Know your worth. He shouldn't be treating you like this. But he will only do what you allow. OP. He's 4 years younger than me, so I should have known. Commenter 2. I think he's keeping you around until he finds someone else. Don't be anyone's doormat. OP. I don't get for what, though. He could be single and just go talk to girls. What's the point of staying with me to do that? Commenter 3. Because he needs you around in case these other girls don't work out. Or he gets off on it. It's classic cheater mentality. Commenter 4. Nor. How old is your BF? This sounds like something a high schooler would do. Also sounds like he had the intention of cheating. I don't buy the whole, she looked sad and lonely thing. He probably wouldn't have told you and only did because his sister already told you. I'd reevaluate your relationship. You deserve to be with someone who treats you with respect, as this whole situation is extremely disrespectful. OP. He's 21. He's calling me insecure because he knew I'd react badly, and said he tried to prove a point that girls and guys can be friends. But like, who gives their number to a stranger to be friends? Usually I'd get to know them first before even talking on the phone. Commenter 5. I'm literally the biggest advocate for girls and guys just being friends. I go off on here regularly at folk claiming they can't and being paranoid. And even still, that's bullshit. Nobody goes out to make a friend that's a girl just to prove a point. They just make that friend naturally. OP. He sees no wrong in his actions. I'd probably use up all my oxygen trying to explain, and he would still remain ignorant. He said if I'm so insecure, he'll call her right now and have her speak to me to prove how the interaction went. I'm not going to lie. I think I'm easily manipulated because I don't know what to say, Appy. Commenter 6. Even if he gave his number to a stranger so they could be friends, why was he so horrible to you? That's inexcusable. Is he angry because they were texting, and maybe it didn't go the way he wanted it to? Pure intentions, sad and lonely. You are naive and gullible if you believe this nonsense. And why is his family so involved in your lives? OP. Technically his sister told me, thinking I already knew. She's really good to me, and we're close. But about his mum, I don't know, because usually she only calls if she can't get a hold of her son. Update. For those who remember me talking about my BF saying the girl looked lonely, like she needed a friend, etc. I took a break from him to process everything. He called me last night and said he missed me, and he did some thinking. He came to the conclusion that a lot of our arguments are because we each refuse to compromise on things. I told him that's far from whatever the hell he did. Eventually, he told me they called twice since the Friday it happened. The girl flirted with him, and he apparently shut her down and blocked her. This would be admirable if he didn't put himself in the position in the first place. But yeah, the conversation escalated quickly. He kept getting angry and having an attitude. He called me insecure and said my insecurities are my fault despite me not having any before him. I explained to him when people have weird vibes or when they ask me out, I simply say, I'm in a relationship, I'm not interested, and move along. He laughed at me, saying, when people ask me out. I did so well in trying to give myself talks and hold myself together since Friday. And he just had to call and spew more horrible things just because he's feeling angry. He's in this situation. He said there's nothing he can do to help, so let's move past it. Forget it and not keep talking about it. He hung up on me, and I'm blamed again. He F'd up, but it's my responsibility to heal and get better and SHT. I don't know what to do. But guys, please don't ever insert women into your and your partner's life. If you're unhappy, please break up and then talk to women. This isn't normal. Edit. Thank you to everyone that commented and gave me their insight, etc. I do appreciate it, and I've been reading everything through my workday. I haven't been able to reply to each, but I'm grateful you guys took time to comment. AITA how I'll work through this, and I don't know how I'm going to do it. But trust I am aware of what I need to do. Hopefully I can STF you and just run with courage. But thank you. Relevant comments. Commenter 1. How long has it been since the break started? Is it at the 1 week point? Do you want to continue the break? OP, since last Friday. Today's Wednesday. I thought my mind would be better by Friday to address it. But he kind of warped my thoughts with that call. I'd love to go for a month, but my birthday is this month, so I know everything will be a mess. Commenter 2. He told you it's your fault. You have two choices here. You suck it up and stay with him. Because yes, it's your fault he gave his phone number to an employee while searching for a gift for you. Be his submissive woman and watch how he twists your mind over and over. Pick up your self-esteem and tell that piece of flesh acting like a man that it's over. He had the audacity to flirt while shopping for you. He has no respect for you or the relationship. He can go ahead and flirt all he wants because he is now single. Because how he has treated you isn't respect, love, or even like. You pick yourself up, dust off his bullshit and move on to better things. OP. I'm trying so hard for option 2. But this guy is in my head bad. I keep going back to square one every day this week. OP responds to a comment about stopping insulting herself and getting out of the toxic relationship. OP. It's difficult when I feel silly for putting myself in these situations. But you are right. Insulting myself doesn't help my self-worth. I'm afraid to wonder about the reasons because what if it's because I'm afraid of being alone? I denied it often because I'm an only child, and I've been alone all my life, and I never felt any kind of haunting emptiness. Apart from missing my friend group, I did most of the things I needed to on my own. So, if it is that, I'm scared to admit it, but also, I don't know how to know if it's that. Commenter 3. Please look up signs of emotional abuse and manipulation. Do you have anxiety? A lot of anxious people have control issues. It doesn't make you a narcissist. I fear that you are taking the blame for his actions. And that's what happens when you are being manipulated. You need to get your power and self-worth back. Please research. OP. I'm diagnosed with anxiety and depression, unfortunately. I think it's best I go back to therapy TBH. I'm sure a professional can assist more than me, going as far as doubting the research too. Commenter 4. Yeah, therapy would be helpful. I read your last post again. How often in your relationship does your BF hang up on you? I honestly wish I could hug you. He's just so mean. OP. He hangs up whenever there's conflict most often, and I annoy him. Thank you for watching the video. If you are interested in listening to these kinds of stories, we've got more in store for you. Simply subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, and share it with your friends.